Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Talk, and my camera just fell. This is live. Hello, hello, hello. Blessings. I'm so glad that you're all here. We're going to just start letting everybody in, and we're going to get started on our beautiful Tuesday Talk morning. I'm so excited. I've been anticipating this Tuesday Talk because 2 weeks ago, we had a challenge at the end of our Tuesday Talk when we did our evening Tuesday Talk, and we talked about trusting God for some really big things. We challenged one another to open our hearts up and really trust God for some big things, and to begin believing that these things were going to just happen, because if God had put them into our heart, then we knew that they needed to be brought forth, right? And so we talked about that at the end of our Tuesday Talk, and then I was hoping to get some testimonies from people. I didn't get very many. Linda and I talked about a few things. Linda, thank you so much for joining me today. I really wanted to hear your testimony too, but I had some miracles the very next day. And I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about that. I wanted to talk to all of you and let the forum be open today for you to share. If you were with us 2 Tuesdays ago, and you asked the Lord for something and the miracle came in, I really want to hear it. If you weren't and something happened this week that you want to testify about, I really want to hear it. Okay, so just let us know, pop it into the chat or raise your hand. Okay, and let's just start off with a little bit of prayer this morning. Father, we're so grateful that you have given us an opportunity for these beautiful women to gather today. And Father, whether they're here live with us right now or whether they are on the replay or listening by podcast, Father, we ask that your spirit would just blow fresh wind into their hearts and into their minds and into their spirits right where they are. Father, we pray that you would stir us up as your women. You would stir us up as your Ishas here in this place now, standing in the midst of your missions that you have assigned to us. Would you stir us up and cause us, Father, to be living examples, living, breathing examples of your goodness. And may our voices unite together to glorify your name, to magnify your name, to usher forth gratitude throughout this earth. And may our words, Father, please, Father, may our words be metered, and may our words be only things that glorify you. Put a watch and a guard over our mouths in the mighty name of Yeshua. Amen. Oh, welcome, 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 everybody. Linda, how are you doing? How was your week?
It's been good so far.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Yeah. So last Tuesday, when you were with us in the evening, you heard my little proclamation at the end that's like, come on, let's just ask God for some big things. I had some really, really big things that I was asking the Holy One for. And pardon me. And it was like a three-step miracle that I needed. And by the next day, the first step of that miracle was completely covered and taken care of miraculously. And not because I told people about my need. It wasn't from anybody that I told about my need that the need was met. I want to clarify that. And it was truly miraculous. And I needed that. And so do you want me to share that first, and then we'll just go? Okay.
Please.
So last Tuesday, I became vulnerable before you guys, and I opened up that my husband, you know, that he has Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis, and so he has issues, mobility issues that are stressors, and it's very difficult right now for him to have mobility. So we were blessed with being able to get him an electric wheelchair. Our insurance covered it. It was amazing, and they delivered it. It was fantastic. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. However, can't get it out of the house, right? So we have this beautiful chair. We've had it for 3 months now, and we can't get it out of the house because we don't have the ramps. And then once we get it out of the house, we don't have the ramps to get it into the car or the trailer or whatever it is that we haven't had our van converted. So there's no way for us to even take it anywhere. And so I began crying out to the Holy One, Father, please make a way. And so on Tuesday, I became vulnerable and I asked the Holy One in front of everyone, in front of witnesses, right? I asked in front of witnesses that the Father would please handle this. And how gracious is he? How good is he? So that was on Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, from unexpected sources, I had enough money to purchase all 3 of the ramps to get out my front door, the first step, and down the second step by the next morning. All of that was covered, 100%.
Okay.
By unexpected sources, not from anyone in our Tuesday talk. wasn't that. However, also I got some blessings from an unnamed source, toward the second part. And so the second part is that I need to get a trailer hitch and a trailer hitch purchased and then installed. Well, guess what? I have enough funds now to do that. So part 2 is now taken care of. I mean, I just have to go get it done. Okay. I got a call that Friday is the day that they are expecting the ramps to be shipped in. And so Friday, they are expecting to be able to come and install the ramps. So this was 2 weeks ago, guys. And here we are now. My head's spinning. I'm so grateful. I'm so excited for the Father. I have to share this. I have to testify this because this is what gratitude is all about. It's not just about being thankful and hiding it. It's about being thankful and expressing it, not in a boastful way. I'm not bragging. Look what God did for me. Too bad he's not taking care of you. No, what I'm saying is if he's going to do it for me, he's so going to do it for you. Because when he puts these things inside of our hearts, it's not, we're checking our hearts. We're coming before him. We're saying, Father, what are the things that you want done? What are the missions you have for us to accomplish in our lives? And whatever they are, you will bring the resources to allow those missions to be accomplished because that's who you are. You don't call us if you're not going to equip us. This was the equipping. And now my husband is going to be able to get outside. We're going to be able to, first step is local here. So we will be able to go for walks around our home, down the streets and everything. It's a phenomenal chair. It's just amazing. And it's safe. See, it's not safe for him to walk outside. If he falls, I can't pick him up. So then it's a whole thing with calling the ambulance or the fire department. It's just that whole thing. So this makes it beautiful and easy and safe and stressless because now my husband can conserve his energy and we can actually have conversation and chit chat and be out and about. We're big walkers. We've been married almost 40 years. We've been married 38 years in December. And all of our entire marriage, we've been walkers. So we go outside and we walk whenever we had stress, whenever we had disagreements, it's how we processed. We would go out and walk and we'd get tired and we would talk and we'd get it all out. And then when we come back into our home, it was done. We wouldn't bring that aggravation back into our home with our children. And we have not been able to do that because of these complications. And so even though we don't have any children living in the home anymore, that's one of our ways of processing. So I am really looking forward to being able to get out there and have my husband just like, I'll have to try to keep up with him because that thing can go 6 miles an hour. Are you kidding me? I mean, I need to start bulking up and eating carbs and taking protein drinks and all of that stuff to try to keep up with him. So It's going to be good. So the next step is the trailer hitch, like I said, and then the next step will be purchasing a tilt ramp, a, a tilted ramp carrier that will carry the wheelchair, and it'll attach to the back of our car. And then that way I don't have to do the conversion, because that's that doesn't work. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So I was given the name of somebody here locally who can help me make wise decisions. He's very well acquainted with that type of stuff that goes on the back of your car. I don't know anything about that. And so he's going to walk me through that. And then when it comes in, he'll install it for me. So it will be amazing. So of the 3 petitions that I laid before the Holy One, 2 have already been financially covered. And the 3rd one is on its way. I mean, I have no doubt. And Millie, I remember on Tuesday evening during our class, you said, it's done. Just Brenda, it's done. And you kept saying that it's done. And Millie, thank you for trusting with me and believing with me, because this for me is huge. This is really huge. This is going to change our lives. Yeah. So anyway, so Linda, that was my little testimony. Little, huge. And I'm so excited. And the other part of it, I am so not stressed about the other part of it. I just already have that assurance in my heart that really it's just a matter of making a wise decision for myself, to go and to have the wisdom of somebody who knows what these things do, and how difficult will it be for me, so that I'm purchasing something that is going to be easy for me to be able to handle too. I'm the one that's going to be, doing that tilty thing. And oh, good grief, you guys, you're going to have to laugh. I'll have to take a video. But I'm going to take pictures as soon as the ramps come in. Okay. And then also, by the way, just a little side note, I also told you all that my oven has been not working for a couple of months, and I didn't really stress about it because we have a barbecue. I have an air fryer, and I have a stove. So it's really no big deal. And who wants to be baking a whole lot of things right now with the heat index being 347 degrees, right? Here in the South, you can see my hair is going to, as we go, my hair is going to continue growing. So anyway, but I do really miss baking challah bread. And Linda, my friend Linda, has been baking challah bread for me and bringing it over every Shabbat, so that I'm not without fresh challah every week. And thank you, sister. Thank you so much for doing that. It's been such a blessing to us. But I really love the energy of doing the challah myself. It's like, I talked about activities in a marriage that really can really, these are Brenda's wisdoms. Okay. This is my take on having a long and successful marriage. These are just 3 things. Number 1 is make sure that your husband works out. Make sure that he gets his energy taken care of. Make a space, create a space opportunity for him to have self-care, whatever that looks like. Whatever that might mean, once a month going to a fight night with his friends or something. I mean, I don't know what it looks like for your home, for your husband. For my husband, it was always that we always made sure that a gym membership was always part of our budget, no matter what. Even when he was unemployed, we made sure that a gym membership was part of his self-care. Because as the husband of the home, as the one who all of the weight and responsibility ultimately falls upon him, we make our decisions together. However, there's an added requirement that is put upon him as my husband. And so we always made sure that we had that. And I really can say in 38 years, I really can't even remember a time when we didn't. I mean, there must have been some times maybe when we were moving that we didn't have a membership, but most of the time we've always had a gym membership for him, because he needed to have a place where he could decompress and get rid of the stress in his life, so that he didn't bring it into the home. Because what do we want in our homes? We want shalom, right? And so we make and create spaces for the people in our home to have outlets that allow them to participate in bringing shalom to the home. And so that was one of the things. That was like our number 1 thing before we even got married. That was like a number 1 thing that we did. And then the number 2 thing was that we walked every day to the best of our ability, we walked every day. And that was just so that he and I had that intimate time, just the two of us. When the kids were little, of course, their strollers were with us. But as they got older and our daughter was old enough to babysit for that hour or hour and a half that we would walk in the evenings, then she would do that. Or my mother-in-law, or sometimes we'd get a sitter. Literally, we would just get a sitter just for that. Just so that we could have that time. And that also was another wonderful tool that the Holy One gave us to help create an atmosphere of shalom in our home by making sure that the stress was taken out of the home. Everything we talked about, all the things that we didn't agree on or whatever was going on. Usually the first 20 minutes was a lot of complaining. We got better as we got better as we got older, a little bit wiser. But usually the first 20 minutes was like, you know, the curtains came down and we were just like, blah, 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 blah. And plus, you know, I had 4 kids. So, you know, come on. It was mostly me. Okay, I admit it. And but then after that, it was about the reconciliation. It was about coming together. It was about talking strategies. It was about sometimes the strategies were, man, let's just, you know, dig in and survive this, and we'll figure it out later. Sometimes that was the strategy. But when we got home every time, and sometimes we would have to take a few extra rounds because we weren't ready yet to come back into our home. But that's what we did. So it was the gym, it was that. And then it was also me taking responsibility that as the woman of the home, that it was my responsibility and upon my shoulders to set the tone for my home. And that meant that anyone who walked into my home, I was given the God-given right and ability to set an example of what shalom meant in my home. I didn't always do it well. I won't always do it well. I will, you know, there are always going to be those days when you have to reset. Thank God for Shabbat, right?
Yes.
It's a do-over every week, starting fresh. But that was the thing. The Holy One really laid that heavily at a young age for me to be the one who set the tone for my home, for my children when they woke up in the morning, for when they went to bed at night, when visitors came, when my husband walked in from work. You know, my husband, when he was a kid and his dad came home from work, it was the best moment of the day. When his dad would walk in the door, he and his brother and sister would run, and his dad would usually have something in his pockets for the kids, or, you know, it was just a greeting time. It was always a really big deal. So what I tried to do, I didn't always do it well, you know, come on. This is the real world. It's not Ozzie and Harriet, but what I tried to do was when Jeff came home, I tried to never hit him with everything that had been going on with my day. I really did try. And this was because before I got married, I had read a lot of books, and I'd had a lot of wisdom from women who who gave me wisdom on how to do this. So it wasn't anything I came up with. You know, I thank God for the tightest women that have been in my life all these years. And so I tried to allow my husband to just have a moment, take a breath. The kids would greet him if they were home and that type of thing. And then it was like, okay, leave daddy alone and let mommy and daddy have a few minutes to talk. You guys go do whatever. And then we were able to, you know, I could listen to him and he could listen to me, but not hitting him with all of my angst and anxiety from the moment he walked in the door. That was a big one that I learned at a young age. And like I said, I didn't always do that, but on the days that I did do that, can I just say we had a lot more shalom in our home. So,
Hey Brenda,
yes.
Mary Catherine asked something. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt just because it's such a good
Sure.
question.
Mhm.
She asked, what are some practical ways that you did to set the tone of shalom in your home? Because
Oh,
I think we talk about it, but we don't say like how, you know, this is what I did. So that, and you're great at this.
Right. Thank you so much, Mary Catherine, thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much, Mary Catherine, for asking that question. Okay. Let's talk about some actual things that were going on in my home. Okay. So one of the things was starting things out, like setting things up earlier. Okay. Now I am not a really great disciplined person. I'm not. And those of you that know me well know that. I am a work in progress. However, there are some tricks and things that I have learned to do that have really, really been successful for me. One of the things was, Charlie, who was that woman? Was it Emily Barnes? I think that she's the one. I mean, she's from like 40 years ago, but I think it was her. Anyway, I read a book about her and how she cared for her home, and I started implementing that when my kids were young. And I would set the dinner table at night before I went to bed for the next night. And that was one of the things, because then the kids expected. I mean, it was done. The table was set. I put everything out the night before. That was one of the things, because then I wasn't running around before my husband walked in the door trying to get dinner ready. And listen, guys, I did not make a huge dinner every night. Trust me. We had probably more hot dogs. I mean, we kept the hot dog Frankfurt business in business, right? And pizza, lots of pizza, lots of hot dogs, but we would still eat it on plates. And so that was one of the things that I learned to do early, was to set my table. Now, I know that with homeschooling and things, that might not be something that you can do. You might need to use your dining room table for schooling, but think of something else that you can do. How can you prepare ahead, right? So, for example, for Shabbat, ushering in the shalom of Shabbat, I don't start my prep on Fridays. I start my prep on Sundays. So on Sundays, after I've had my Shabbat, I start getting my things ready. By Wednesday, I want all of my laundry done. I do not want to have to do all of my laundry on Friday. It's too much. I can't handle it. So what I did was, when I first started doing Shabbats especially, I tried to do everything on Fridays. That didn't work. So I just started walking it back a little bit. So then by Wednesdays was my day that I made sure that my laundry was done. So on Friday, if I had one load or two loads, that's super easy. Throw in a load, before the portion. It goes into the dryer after the portion. It's folded and the next load goes in, and that's all done before the challah bread's risen. Okay. So, and I would not do more than two loads on Fridays. The other thing is, I have learned to let go. So if that laundry is not done, it goes in the basket, it goes on top of the washing machine, and it's done. It's out. Not at all. And so then that's one of the things. So that's very helpful for me for Shabbat, in setting your tone for your home. Okay. So planning ahead, doing some things. The other thing that I've learned to do that really sets a great tone in my home for peace is that I have a lot of things pre-prepared. I do a lot of, like, for example, I make smoothies, right? So I freeze my salad. I know that sounds crazy, guys, but I make smoothies in the morning, and who has time? And then the house is a mess. And then if I run in to go to work, then my kitchen's a disaster, because smoothies are messy. Let's just be honest. You're chopping, you're dicing, all that stuff. So when I go to the grocery store, I put all my food out on the counter, and I start preparing my food into meal-sized things. So with my salad, I get big, huge salads because I don't have a garden. So I buy my salad. Sorry, guys. Have I been lowered in your eyes now that I don't grow my own lettuce? Yikes. This is just the honest truth. I buy it at the store. So I get my Ziploc bags out, and I put in all of my lettuces, my kale, cabbage, all of those things, whatever veggies I have in the fridge that are rotting or getting close. Charlie's awesome at this. And I throw all of those in, and then the fruit, throw all those things in, and everything goes in the freezer. And the lettuce is amazing. The lettuce, the kale, the romaine, all of those things, all of that stuff is all done. It's great in the freezer. And then when you make your smoothie, you don't have to add a lot of ice, and it doesn't get watered down because everything's frozen. So the frozen vegetables are the ice cubes, basically. Frozen vegetables and the frozen fruit. Okay, so that's one of the things. But these are the things that I do for shalom in my home. Why? Because at a moment's notice, I can grab something. So when I cook a dinner, I cook always extra, even though there's only 2 of
Mhm.
us, and I freeze
Mhm.
it. And I know that that sounds like, really, that brings shalom in your home? Are you kidding
Mhm.
me? When my husband's hungry, last night, I got off work really late last night. I walked out because I have a commute of about 4 steps. So I opened up my office door and I walked out, and my husband's like, honey, I'm so hungry. Boom. Guess what? In 5 minutes, he was eating because I had already made a dinner previously that I had prepared, and all I had to do was heat it up. And that was it. That brings shalom in your home. I wasn't pulling out pots and pans, frustrated, trying to get everything done. It's, 8:30 at night. No, it brought shalom to the home. So just whatever, individually, you're going to, talk to your friends, find out some things that you will work in your home. For me, those are the things that worked in my home. Uh, Charlie is very, very organized and very disciplined. And I love that about her. And I learned so much from her that way. That's not my personality, but I am learning that even though that's not natural for me, my goodness, when I learn to put these things in order, the word of God is setting things in order.
Mhm.
I mean, so that is the nature of God, is setting things in order. So
Yes.
when we don't set things in order, we are not operating within the nature that God
Yeah.
has created within us that is profitable and fruitful. So,
Yeah.
hey, we all have to grab the corners of our personalities and rein them in. And so for me, those
Yeah.
are just a few of the things.
That's good, Brenda. For my house, one of the reasons I have to be more organized than normal is because the way I bring shalom in my home is with organization.
Mhm.
I found that when I was running around in my 20s, constantly looking for something because something was lost, I spent, in my little quick time inventory, I realized I've spent a lot of time looking for things. So that had to stop,
Yes.
first of all, because that caused me to have that, anxiety,
Right.
and I'm fractured. So then that's the that's what the window of revelation I'm opening up to my home, right? Is that angst that I can't find things, I'm digging through stuff. I can't, so doing that. Second thing was, with my husband having PTSD and a TBI, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and traumatic brain injury. I don't want to be ill. So he has those issues that we get to manage. I can't have a lot of stuff out. If there's a lot of stuff everywhere,
Mhm.
it's triggers for him. And what it made me realize, it wasn't anything about his PTSD or TBI. It was a trigger to me. Because in the hospital, you'll notice there's not a lot of stuff everywhere. Not because, we need it to be a sterile environment. It's because it's a trigger. And when you're tense, you're in pain. So if you're dealing with pain management, if you have any kind of anxiety disorders, depression, whatever, it sounds like a stupid thing to do, and you guys hear me harp on this, but clean your house. Like, literally just clean your house.
Yeah.
Throw stuff away. You don't need it. You have too much stuff.
Yeah.
And the stuff is actually causing you the stress, and it's not bringing shalom. I know Mary Catherine has kind of gone through that, and she's found, she can probably give a better testimony about how much that has really blessed her home, just kind of reducing some stress.
That's so good. Charlie, I didn't realize that that is actually one of the things for the last 9 years that I've really been focusing on. And thank you so much for bringing that, because for my husband, because he went from being a fast, he was a runner in college. He had scholarships for running. He did track. He was just fast, just fast everywhere. Everything that he did was fast. And then when this happened in his life, his whole world slowed down to a crawl, and that's like, woohoo, it's a crawl. And so I can't move fast around him. So for 9 years, I've been learning to slow my roll down. And if I move fast, it triggers him, and that triggers me. Him getting upset that triggers me. Having my house be a mess triggers me. Cleaning my house triggers him. So I have had to learn, and we all need to do this. Your husband doesn't, it just doesn't matter if you have a husband or don't have a husband. We all need to learn how to do this. figure out what works in your home. Because for me, if I vacuum during the day, my husband is undone for the rest of the day. So I have to learn how to navigate around that. Okay. We can do this. Man, we are Ishas. God has created us with powerful shoulders and great ability. And we can do multiple things at all the time. Right. So thank you, Charlie, for bringing that up, because I realized I have really rearranged my life to make sure that what I'm doing during the day is to the best of my ability. And I don't always do it well, is not triggering him or causing him anxiety, because then that reduces the amount of shalom in my home, and then it's trying to recapture it. Then it's trying to calm everything down and get it back. Right. So thank you very much for that, Charlie. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So anyone else have any questions? Or I don't see everybody. So no. Okay. Anyone else have a comment that they wanted to make?
Miracle. Can I share my miracle?
Please, please.
I shared it. I think I shared it Friday. I'm not sure, but I feel like it's worth repeating and on here for anyone who's maybe struggling with this. But it was really amazing that we pulled into the campground for Women of Valor. It got canceled. It was like, and then, but what a great week it ended up becoming, having really great fellowship with some ladies that popped in here and there. But our air conditioner went out, and it's like swampland here in Kentucky. Swampy, hot, and hot.
Did you say hot?
and we're like, no air conditioner, Brenda. And I was like, we're gonna die. I think we're gonna die.
Talk about triggers.
We didn't have the full-time ministry. There's no money for like to go get into go to a hotel. So we're like, all right, this could be a trigger. Yeah, this would be a big trigger. So we called, and all the RV places we've been calling for about different things that are going on with our RV. That's another day. But they're all like booked out 2 months out, because RVing right now is a big thing, and all the repair people are booked out 2 months in advance. So we thought, we're not going to get anybody. We called, and there was this little town right outside of where we were, and they said, yeah, we can be there tomorrow morning. We're like, oh. We got there that night. So the morning it was like, okay, we think we'll be fine. We have fans. So he showed up, and we thought, we have this like Good Sam. It's kind of like a homeowner's insurance, but it's warranty, like you buy it, but you can buy one for an RV also. So when major things go out, you just pay your deductible. So we're like, okay, well, it's $200. Okay, we're going to pay this deductible. Okay, well, that's what we got to do. And the guy was like, oh yeah, no, we don't do only warranty work in the shop, not if we have to come out. But of course, they didn't tell us that on the phone. So now it was like $400 and something that we had to pay this guy before he could leave. And all he did is change a motor out that was like $100 part my husband can do in like 15 minutes. And we're like, okay, Father, you know what? Worrying about this is not going to add one more day to my life or one more dollar to my checking account.
Right.
So we're not even going to worry about this. We're just giving this to you. We've given our whole lives to you. We've given everything to you. So that means you're taking care of everything. So we're just going to thank you for just dealing with it. It'll work out. We don't even know how. And literally like half an hour later, I got a phone call from a lady from Hartford Insurance. I thought she was trying to sell me insurance. Almost hung up on her. She's like, no. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. She's like, no. I have been trying to get a hold of you because when your father passed away, which was almost 2 years ago, your father passed away. He had put you on a small little life insurance policy, and you're one of the beneficiaries of it, of 4, because he had 4 children. You're one of the beneficiaries. So I just wanted to know where to send the check, and it's $500. So that's how God works. Literally, I realized I just started saying, God, you know what? This is not going to add another day to my life, another dollar to the checkbook. So there you go.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Talk about gratitude. Hallelujah. Can we all just say, sister, we're so excited. And the thing is, Charlie, you know, all of us ladies, we're in this together. We want to celebrate the victories. We want to pray for you when there's hard things, because we want to celebrate the victories too. And that is just amazing. And when you called me and told me that you got that check. And it was like, it was even more than, wasn't it? It was even more than what your bill ended up being. So it's kind of like, yeah, I can take care of you and then some. So, and that's kind of how I feel about the amount of money that was sent to us for the ramps, because it covered the ramps and it covered the trailer hitch. What? What?
Yeah, now
What?
call the landlord and get your oven fixed.
Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. I got the call this morning, and they're coming on Friday morning, since we're doing the portion Thursday night. They're coming on Friday morning to fix my oven. So how awesome. Guess who gets to bake some challah? Challah. That's what I get to do. So, God is so good. I love it. Okay. Linda, you unmute.
Yeah.
There you are.
I love Charlie's story. We had a similar thing happen when we moved here. Gary and I had been RVing until we moved here, and our RV air conditioning went out, and we ended up staying at a friend's rental place for a while. But when we moved here, our tires hadn't been changed in about 8 years. They were checked. They were starting to really look rough, and Gary goes, we're going to need new tires, and they're going to run about $500. So we started praying into that the Holy One would provide us tires. And he'd been out of work for 2 years. We'd been without medical insurance. We'd been without, you name it. I mean, we were just down and out. Right? So tires, $500 from tires, like, woohoo, that's way out there. And my friend Marianne called me. She was getting my mail at her home, and she said, I got something here from an insurance company, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what? That's tied to our credit union account. They're always wanting us to buy more insurance on our credit union account. Just throw it away. And then something stopped me. I said, just throw it in the package and mail it. So a couple of days later, I get this package and I open it up, and it was, of all things, Gary's dad had a baby policy on my husband when he was an infant, and his dad had passed away in 2004. And the insurance company had never been able to find anybody to pay out this claim, right? So it was a notice that this insurance had matured and it had money coming to him. So he signs off on it, sends it to his sister who had to approve it. She gets it notarized. We send it in, and it came to just the amount of the tires, which, by the way, on our older Toyota, were no longer a stock item. They had to be ordered. So now we go to Sam's and say, do you have these tires? And they said, well, those are special order. And it may take a month, right? And he goes, wait a minute, let me check. Somebody went to buy them and never picked them up. And we just happen to have a set right here. We can put them on today. Would you like that?
What?
And we were like, how do you do that? How do you, a baby policy? My husband's 69 years old. At the time, he was 64. I mean, it just, and the Father is always doing wonderful, beautiful things like that. One of the things when we pray the Amidah, he says we see his miracles every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. Goodness is his name, his very persona, who he is, And I haven't always lived as if that's exactly what he was doing. So as we've gone through the drugs that went through our family and the loss of several family members, and my daughter being a heroin addict, an IV heroin addict, and living on the streets of St. Louis, I mean, things didn't look like he was good anymore. It just it didn't feel like he was good. And so as Melinda has come out and celebrating her 18 months of being clean, and being involved in an amazing women's group up there and in a recovery home, we find out, I think I mentioned in a Tuesday talk of maybe 6 weeks ago or so, that the Oxford houses are talking about closing down in that part of Illinois. There's about 8 or 10 of them, some men, some women. So Melinda is starting to get nervous about, what do I do? Am I ready to be alone? Am I ready to get my own place? So we started praying into that she would have her own place.
Right.
And that it would be an appropriate time and place and it would be something she could afford, and that she would, you know, it would just be everything that the Holy One knew she needed. So she was kind of feeling icky over some incident. I don't recall, but it's stressful trying to manage this 6 women in a home. Some of them who just don't get it. I mean, some of them don't want to bathe. Some of them are, you know, right off the street. They've got a lot of street on them. It's frustrating, you know. You keep encouraging them. So she was kind of drained that one day, and a friend of hers said, "Where are you? I'm going to come and see you." She says, "Well, I'm at the laundromat because somebody had bed bugs." And she was furious. She's washing everything she owns, and they're cleaning out the house with the bed bugs, and she's not in a good place. So her friend Michelle says, when she's done, she helps her load the car. She says, "We need to go visit a friend of mine. Do you mind?" And she said, "No, I don't. I'm done now. Let's go clear the air." So they go visit this friend, who tells them, as they get in this lovely condo out by the golf course on the nicest end of town, this friend Shelly turns and looks at Melinda after a little bit of visiting and having iced tea, saying, "Do you want to rent this place?" And Melinda goes, "Well, I don't think I can afford it. It is really a lovely series of these townhomes, and about 5 of them together, and they're very, very nice." And she said, I think you can. I think you can." And she proceeds to tell her how she came there when she was going through her recovery, and that the landlady who owns it lives out of state, and she only leases them this property to women who are really absolutely dead set on walking out the recovery, and the rent is affordable. And the woman turns and said, "I'm going to call her and you talk to her right now. And if you're really interested, let's nail this down, because I'm going to be out of here September 1st. So Melinda goes, "Okay, do it. So she calls the landlady. The landlady said, "I think that would be acceptable. And even if you don't have the full amount, if you can come up with 1 month's rent, if you don't have the deposit, I'll work with you on it." So when she hangs up, the woman said, "I'm not taking all my stuff with me. I'm taking my couch, my bed, and my TV. The rest you can have. My dishes, my pots and pans, the towels, everything else. I'm going to leave for you."
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Not
And it's
unbelievable.
affordable.
It's God.
The very next week on her paycheck, because she works commission for a phone company, doing lines and phones for a cell phone company, she gets a $1,200 check on her commissions, because the Lord is just blessing her and providing for her. It's not anything we did. It's not anything we did other than ask him, you know, ask him to meet your needs, ask him for the right timing, ask him for the next step, ask him to, you know, seek his face, not just his hand, you know.
Right.
And this
Right.
plowing into this deeper walk has just been amazing to watch how the Holy One is opening up in other people's lives all the answers to what we really need. I believe he's making a short work. He's showing his glory. The King is in the field, absolutely in the field, and he is our provider. He knows exactly what we need. And the joy of sharing that is it just keeps it going, you know. It gives him glory. It gives him honor. It blesses him to share with the goodness of God in the land of the living with other people, so that they too can have hope and know that he is absolutely involved in every detail of our lives, and he will provide. He will absolutely provide, and he will, whether it's material things or whether it's healing.
Right.
There's just so many miracles going around. I could just sit there and name them all day. But the point is that we need to open up and share these with people, so that they know that they too have access into that throne of grace, and they can receive it.
Yes, that's so beautiful. Linda, it's been an amazing journey focusing upon gratitude, right? Like, it really, when we focus on gratitude, and what I mean by that is not focusing on being grateful. Let me put it that way, okay? Focusing on being grateful to the Holy One for being who he is, And I was reading the chats, Linda, while you were talking. I didn't mean to be disrespectful, but I was listening. But I also wanted to read the chats, because your words are touching people's lives, and your story, your testimony is resonating within us. You know, you love your daughter. You have been watching her walk out her sobriety, seeing the miracles that are happening in her lives. And instead of a phone call in the middle of night saying, I need money, I need money, I need money, you're getting phone calls in the middle of the night saying, I can't believe how good God is. Look at what he's doing. Why does he love me so much? That's what you're getting. And we need to be grateful for that. We need to exclaim and extol praises to him for that, because she is your first fruits. You know, she is she's she's your baby girl, you know.
She's my blessing baby, my child
Yeah,
of promise, the one the
she
Lord
was.
told me
Yeah,
was
that's
special.
right. That's right. And now you're seeing that he's had his hand on her all the time, but now your attitude, and Mary Catherine had asked about, how do you literally, what are some of the things that you do in reality to keep shalom in your home, to make your home a place of shalom? Linda, that's it right there. Can I just tell you guys, really, if you really want a formula, um, it is stop complaining. Can I love you? Will you love me? Will you love me enough if I just tell you, stop complaining? You know that I'm doing the course on the Hebrew alphabet, and it's taking a little bit longer for me to finish these last letters. And I was, you know, having words with the Holy One about that. and I'm not a French fry yet. It's amazing. But I was talking to him about this because I really want these things to get done and get done quickly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is that going through the letters is shredding me as a person. It is taking me down. Every letter is revealing my heart. Every letter is I'm walking this out. This isn't about just getting a bunch of information. You know, you guys, you can Google information, right? And so, but this is part of something that the Holy One's been stirring in me for over 20 years now. And it's not just about this information that I'm getting. So this past week, obviously, was the letter Pei. And the letter Pei, it means mouth. Pe means mouth, but the letter Pei is a representative of the mouth. And it means so much more. It is about how we communicate, what we choose to do with the creative function that God gave us to verbalize things. Why did he create us to be verbal beings? Why did he give us the ability to communicate one with another? What does our communication do, and how do we use it? What does he say communication should be? And what is our soul's scream and cry and demand for selfishness? What is that? How is that opposed? We can't have shalom in our home if we're operating with a beast mentality. If we're operating with, give me everything that I want to be happy, I want everything, I want it now. And being upset and angry with everyone for not fitting into exactly what is making you feel happy and right now. That's not shalom. Shalom is not absence of war, guys. Shalom's not absence of conflict. Shalom is in the midst of conflict. You know who your strength is. You know who your provider is. You know that you are in the palm of his hand, written, engraved, not getting out. This is it right here, right now. The words that come out of your mouth, are they honoring him? Are they allowing others to honor him, or are you creating chaos and havoc with your words? Now, I was honest and vulnerable last week when I told you guys, man, I got nailed. even just the verbal, the internal dialogue that was going on in my mind, the Holy One said, that is not what you were created to do. And how much time, Brenda, are you wasting in going over scenarios over and over and over of, I could have said this, I could have said that. You know, I really would have gotten a zinger if I would have thought, and you know what, I would have really liked to have said. No, how much time and energy and effort was wasted. I mean, I am literally wasting the time and energy that God has gifted to me in my short lifetime by doing that, by rehearsing senseless, useless, self-promoting, fleshly thoughts and scenarios. And that was not bringing forth life. So what is our mouth created to do? Well, it says in Psalm 89, verse 2, it says that all the days of our lives, we are to be glorifying God to all generations, speaking of his faithfulness. That's what our mouth is supposed to be doing. And if it's not doing that, even when we're sitting down talking to our kids about schoolwork, are we glorifying God? Are we doing that? Or are we complaining and beating them up and fracturing them because they're not doing it the way that we told them to do it? Now, that doesn't mean that you're not giving correction. Yeshua gave correction, and it was always correction for life. And it was harsh at times. His correction was harsh. It doesn't mean that you don't correct. You guide, you direct, you teach, you encourage, but you're not fracturing. You're not tearing apart. You're not slaughtering. You're not committing murder. And if you want shalom in your home, it is a discipline of the mouth. It is a discipline that each and every one of us have been given the opportunity and the ability. He doesn't call us unless he enables us. He trains us for war. He trains us to do this thing. He has trained us to be the master over our tongue. That is what we are to do. The tongue can have life or death. And if we are issuing forth death and destruction and chaos with our tongue, we will never have shalom in our home. And so practicality, stop complaining. And that is, all 10 fingers, guys, are pointed at me. I am not saying anything that is not absolutely 100% on me too. I'm not telling you a pie in the sky story. I'm saying you can effectively begin seeing a physical difference in your home by harnessing this tongue.
And I think too that I noticed that when I'm feeling unwell, it's a little bit more difficult to control. And I just went through a couple of weeks of not feeling so red hot. And the Holy Ones tell me, you don't get a pass. You don't get the sick pass.
Really?
That says you can be snarky, and so it didn't all come out of my mouth, but like you, it was my thoughts, of I always do this and I always do this, and what would this house be with it, that, and so cut it off. So what I felt like the Holy One was telling me this week is, I have an old dog who's really aging out, and he gets up in the middle of the night and he barks, and he's a big old border collie rescue guy, and he's got hip dysplasia and congestive heart failure, and he gets afraid, or the air conditioner shuts off, or he can't get up to get a drink. So I'm putting up with him. So when I'm tired, or if I don't feel well, and I don't handle that very well, then I'm going to have more issues with keeping shalom in my home. So say I only got 4 or 5 hours sleep instead of 8, and say I'm now using caffeine to try to keep going during the day, or eating junk food or comfort food, or wherever you want to call it, and not doing what I know I need to do to take care of myself. Now now it feels like I'm trying to push myself right through a keyhole. It's not going to work. And I can't be shalom when my husband comes in if I have allowed this trajectory to keep going. Because what's going to happen then is I'm going to be watching news. I'm going to be watching about COVID. I'm going to be watching about every disaster going on in the world. I'm going to get consumed with drama. And when he comes home, it's going to blow. And so he's really warned me that, guard your sleep. hard, eat healthier, take a few minutes. And so now I'm getting up and I'm processing 3 pounds of organic potatoes and putting them in the fridge, and processing sweet potatoes and putting them in the fridge, and having the organic chicken tenders cooked. And so all I got to do is take them out and warm up, and stop depending upon a quick fix to help me get through the day, because I don't feel well, I'm overtired. And
Yeah.
when I do that, it's a lot easier to keep that attitude of gratitude, and that peace that passes all understanding, that really will envelope me when I'm actually taking care of myself. And that doesn't mean I spend the whole day. It's not like it's a whole day Linda spa day, but it is some time consuming things like on occasion, but things that just need to be done, necessarily so, like you and Charlie were talking about, of planning ahead so that you have the right food to eat, you have a decent night's sleep, or you do take a nap without, naps. What are naps for? Naps are for sisters, now I take a nap if I need a nap.
Right.
Just
Give yourself permission.
That's right. Give yourself permission to take care of yourself so that you can be there for others.
Yeah. I was thinking about some of you moms who have so many children, and a nap would be like a spa day if you were able to have a 15-minute nap. But when it is available and when that baby can sleep and you can do that, do it. Give yourself permission. Let the laundry go. Give yourself permission. Take a moment to be refreshed. Take a moment. Linda, you said to me recently, I had told you that I was struggling with something. I was trying to process something that was complex for me. And I just wasn't getting a good, clear wisdom of how to process this. So I went and took a short nap, and I went to sleep, and I woke up and boom, it was right there. And you said to me, well, of course, whenever your computer is on the fritz, or whenever your computer is not, you turn your computer off, it resets it. And then it's all fresh and new when it starts up again. And I thought
that's when it writes to your hard
wisdom.
drive. When you power down your computer, that's when it writes to your hard drive and it does its updates. So yeah, that makes sense to me that we can. My dad worked for IBM for 40 years, so I think like a computer, I guess. But
exactly.
Being able to, I always park my brain at night too, like you used to have to be, you turned off your computer in a certain order and steps.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always go to bed with reading the word right before I go to bed, no matter how tired I was, just a little bit of the word.
Right.
And then for years, it's been an MP3 player in my ear where I listen to the word, but listen to Torah at night, but or Psalms or whatever, it's Proverbs, but it's a way of completing your day so that you're not laying there half the night. I had terrible insomnia. I've had to go to work after not even sleeping, not at all. Driving to work, bleary-eyed, up for 2 days because I just couldn't sleep, and ever since I started parking my brain in such a way and parking my soul and saying, now I rest in you. Now you've got your word. Your word is watching over me. Now I can just trust you to give me, you said you give your beloved sleep.
Wow.
Now I'm just resting you.
Oh, that's so good, Linda. That's so good. I hope that today we have had an opportunity to just speak into your life a little bit. Linda and I are gray hair. So, well, Linda's not gray hair, but she should be, but she's not. I don't know, Linda, you are amazing. I can't believe that you don't color your hair, and it's beautiful, and you still don't have gray hair. It's amazing. A little tiny bit of gray hair, a little itsy bitsy gray hair, but we want to be women who are speaking life to you. And we want to be, those women who are helping you with the practicalities of walking this walk. This is not about theory. This is about really, truly walking the walk. And Charlie, I appreciate you so much. She made a comment here, ladies. I think to myself, what can I do today to make things easier for tomorrow? Sometimes it means running to fill the gas tank up so that we don't have to stop for the trip the next day, or making a grocery list so that I stick to plan when I'm shopping, or look at your next couple of days and what can you do to make those days easier. That is so important for me, because I have a different diet than my husband does. Pardon me. I stick to the way that I eat by preparing ahead. If I don't, guys, I don't. When I go to the grocery store and I come home and I put my groceries out on the counter, I start chopping and dicing and I start bagging things up or putting them in glass containers, sticking them in the fridge, putting them in glass containers, sticking them in the freezer. I, at a moment's notice, can eat a good meal at any time. I have pasta pre-made. I have vegetables diced and pre-made. I can throw those vegetables in a saute pan, and in 6 minutes, I am eating an amazing meal that is feeding and fueling my body and keeping my brain well oiled and all of the things. There are ways to do this. And, this just sounds like a really fun topic that we should have sometime. We should have just a gathering of the ladies, and we can just come up with some really great tips for those of you who just need some great tips on how to just make your life easier, how to prepare ahead. But I have everything prepared ahead. Like right now, I can run into my refrigerator and I can grab, and within 6 minutes, I can have a really great meal for myself. And for my husband too. He always laughs at me. How do you get that cooked so fast? Because I prep ahead. I don't prep ahead in everything. I'm learning. I'm doing better and better and better, but man, it's good. So it's amazing how much an hour of prep time saves you during the week. And ladies, I'm telling you, that is your prep day is when you go to the grocery store. Prep. Give yourself that time. Put your groceries up on the counter and prep for the week. Give yourself an extra hour when you get home from the grocery store or whatever, if you can, and prep for the week so that you have an extra 20 minutes to take a nap, or you have an extra 15 minutes to just sit with a crying baby and just be quiet and be still, and you don't have to run and do something else. It really will make a huge difference. And ladies, our time is up. I appreciate you so much. I just pray that those of you that are listening by podcast or in the replay, that you felt the energy and the love that was coming forth from the ladies here and the testimonies, and be blessed. Let's fill our lives with gratitude. Let's fill our lives with thanking the Father. If He has called you, He will equip you. If He equips you, then He's going to empower you to walk that out. And that's who you are as an Isha of your home, whether you're married or single, whether you're young or you're old. You are an Isha, and you are the space around you, the influence, the sphere of influence around you. That is the place that God has you walking in right now. That is your mission field. And we pray that He will empower you and equip you right there, right now, to bring shalom into every atmosphere that you walk into. Not just your home, but be your home. Be the home. Wherever you go, be the shalom. Allow that to be the space that surrounds you, the presence of the Holy One Himself surrounding you and blessing all of those around you. So be well, be blessed. We'll see you on the next Tuesday talk, which will be the evening Tuesday talk, the second. Let's see, the first. Oh, geez, I can't even remember now. I think it's the first. Never, I'm not even going to say because I'll get it wrong. Look on your calendars. Okay. Linda, you're muted if you're telling me what the date is.
No, I said, look at Millie. She's holding her fingers up.
Okay. Millie, where are you, Millie? You're holding your fingers up. I can't see you. Let's see. Oh, it's the 3rd. Okay. The 3rd. Okay. Fantastic. Well, I love you guys. Be blessed. Stay for the after party if you're here, and we can discuss some more. But those of you that are listening, be blessed. We love you so much. We'll see you on the next Tuesday talk. Bye-bye.